Hey everyone, Sean here, and today in this video, it is that time of the year, and we're right at the end of the year of 2022 already. It feels like time's been flying. It has been a while since I've last made a video like this, whether it's for Talk's video or pretty much any vlog of sorts. So I thought I'd make one up for around this time to let you guys know how I've been doing and stuff like that, and maybe perhaps let me know how you guys been doing in the comment section below. But just wanted to make this video to kind of go at it. You know what I mean? Just let things out of my chest, sort of thing. Blah blah, and you name it. So it's been quite another year, and I'd say kind of a mixed bag. I would say not the greatest, but not really the worst either. I'd say it was kind of just like that, quite a bit has happened around the world though, including the whole Ukraine and Russia thing. Even in fact, of course, some of the games, including Advance Wars, the reboot camp, and we have yet to see any update on it at all. So I've been wondering where that game has been, So hopefully we hear something from it, but I'm in no rush at this point because there's just a lot of games going to be coming out right at the start of 2023, and even now, like in December with Crisis Core, and then I'm trying to play Bayonetta or try to get it started at least, and in January we're gonna have something like One Piece Odyssey. We're gonna have Forspoken, which I'm curious to check out, but I do want to wait on reviews for that one. But we'll see. I mean, it is on my radar, no less, and not to mention, Fire Emblem Engage, which I do want to play more of that. I'm more likely to play that than Forspoken. But we'll have to see about that. See how the reviews, go. And it's essentially the new sort of Nary. I don't know how you say it in January, but it's poor Nary. I'm not sure because there's quite a bit of games coming out around that time. January all the way through March, pretty much, and it can't be helped because of all the delays and such like that with how the work ethics work today, and not to mention the whole pandemic thing still. I mean, there are a lot of projects that were initiated around that time, but because of the COVID and stuff like that, they got held back and stuff like that. Work has been still kind of weird, I guess, for developers and such. So some of them are still going to be delayed around that time. So it can't be helped, and not to mention, like, I think the whole first half of 2023 is going to be pretty lit, especially with Final Fantasy 16 coming to June. 16 is going to be coming out in June, so that's definitely something for me to look forward to. Not to mention, I believe there is one more game coming out around that time, which is Street Fighter 6. So I'm going to be juggling between a fighting game and a story-driven, heavy JRPG. So it's going to be crazy. It's going to be super packed for 2023 at that. So things are already looking pretty promising, and not to mention we have 7 Remake Rebirth, or 7 Rebirth, I guess. So it's looking pretty jam packed in there, I must say. So 2023 is already looking pretty promising in the games lineup. And that's just games alone, and then you gotta look at the anime, you gotta look at the movies. Man, it's just the entertainment media is definitely packed in there for sure. Man, it is quite a roadmap, I must say. So it's looking pretty busy already in that sense. So I'm gonna do my best to do my reviews and stuff like that, whether it's rapid fire or the full version or whatever you want to call it, right? The OG format, with me talking like this and stuff like that. But it's just gonna be packed. I'm telling you, man. it's gonna be something. Let's put it that way. 2023 in comparison to this year has been yeah, like this year has been pretty mixed into the games too. Like there have been some big hitters like Elden Ring and God of War, and we all know how that ended up in the Game Awards. Like God of War won all the other awards, but Elden Ring came out with the Game of the Year awards. So I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, it's really up to you what games you like and stuff like that. These award shows has always been like a giant commercial, essentially, with game reveals that are pretty nice to look forward to. We just had one with Street Fighter. We had one with Tekken 8 stuff in there. So I'm pretty satisfied with that alone. Not to mention Armored Core, right? I'm actually kind of interested to see if I want to, dip my foot into the Armored Core series with that one. We'll see about that. I mean, I've always heard about it. I never had a PlayStation to mess around with these Armored Core games, or really any console to mess around with these Armored Core games, or never gave it the time to, try them out. So maybe Armored Core 6, I believe, is this time around gonna be the one to help me sort of get into that. But we'll have to wait and see. It just got announced with the cinematic trailer. I gotta see the gameplay of it to even think about whether to purchase it or not. But it's on the horizon, I guess, in a way. So we'll have to wait and see. Kind of cool that From Software is, going to be working on that game instead of a Souls game. But it is with different staff, directors from another game. I forget what it was called, but it's happening no less. So I think that's pretty cool. One other game I do want to mention in mind is Judas. Judas is essentially BioShock, but it's not BioShock, but it is BioShock. So it's one of those games, right? So I'm interested in that. I've always been interested with the BioShock games. I've played all of them at that point, or most of them. Maybe not some of the DLC, but I'm pretty sure I got most of the gist. And I played 2. I played 1, of course. I played BioShock Infinite as my first one, as my introduction to the BioShock series, which was an interesting one, which has been pretty fun for what it was. Just your first-person shooter adventure kind of game with story and just interesting lore behind it. So I'm definitely looking forward to what Judas has in store. So that one's another one on my radar. It's again, man, it's gonna be jam-packed. I'm telling you, man. Now, granted, we don't know when Judas is coming out. I think it may be coming out next or 2023. So it's just another game on my list at that. So other than that, I'm just glad that the when it comes to the fighting game award, I did not go to Sifu because that was a ridiculous pick. You should have just left that blank or put Rumbleverse in there. That would have been fine, I think. But for some reason they felt like the need to include something in there, so they just put Sifu in there. But luckily, it wasn't Sifu. It was Multiverses. It would have been nice to see KOF win something, but hey, you know what? I'll take Multiverses because I do like that game. I'm kind of waiting on a certain character, so right now it's kind of a little cold in that department, but I'm kind of waiting on that game to kind of get that character I really want to play. So waiting till then. So when it comes to just other games in general, I might as well go through Game Informer to really help me remember what games came out this year. But I do remember in mind that Pokemon Legends, I believe, came out in January of 2022. So that one was an interesting adventure because it was the first one with that open world format. I think it was working. I think it was a great concept. The visual execution was subpar, and it had a lot of room for improvement, which was something I was hoping for in Scarlet and Violet. And of course, that one failed in that department, but I do have a review coming up, so you'll know what my overall opinion on that. But overall, I'm still playing it even after I'm beating it, so it does tell you something how much fun I'm having personally with Scarlet and Violet. But let me look through the games for 2022 just to remind myself what was going on that for this year. So okay, here we go. So we already talked about Pokemon Legends Arceus. Yeah, kind of like I said, when it comes to the games, it was kind of a mixed bag because I don't think I've played as many games for this year. But let's just go through the list here. Yeah, I thought about getting Sifu, but I think I was occupied with something else. What was it? I think it might have been still with Legend or Arceus or whatever. Legends Arceus. Oh, that's right. Oh, that's right. King of Fighters 15 came out that month, February. So I think that was why I was putting Sifu away, because I wanted to put my time into other games as well, other certain games that not exactly new, but I believe I was working on something as well. KY 15 was that game of the month, so probably why I didn't come around to playing Sifu after all. Of course, when it comes to March, there is Gran Turismo 7, which I did have fun with for what it was, despite the microtransaction sort of controversies that came out at the time. I don't know how it is now. I mean, there's still some updates here and there, but it seems like it's still not the proper Gran Turismo game that everyone has, or fans have been sort of looking forward to. Anything else? Ghostwire Tokyo. Ghostwire Tokyo was another interesting piece. I almost kind of forgot, honestly, because one, it came out earlier this year. I mean, this came out in March, but it was kind of like, it was like a video game, right? I mean, you go through the motions, right? You just progress through the game, you collect stuff, you level up yourself, and there's a pretty basic story, and with some bits of pieces of lore here and there. But honestly, I think the side stories were really interesting more than the main story of itself. I think it's just one of those games. That's just the nature of Ghostwire. So that was definitely the game for the month. I think at that time, it seems like I was limiting myself to one game per month. At that, I just I don't know. It was. I don't know what it was really. I think I was focusing on streaming other games at the time. But let's just go through April here, if there was anything. April. Definitely had Nintendo Switch Sports. That was definitely the game of the month at that time. I wanted to get back into sort of the old days of the Nintendo sports games, right, with the motion controls and everything. That was kind of like the bread and butter on this channel at one point with friends and stuff like that. But I was solo for April, and it is what it is. It's just a sports game on the Switch, right? So it's kind of like the same thing, except some visual differences with the new player models and the Mii's, of course, the classic Mii models as well. And I think that was just okay, but there is one elephant, huge elephant, in fact, in the room. Where is baseball and where is golf, right? Unless I missed out, or I haven't kept up with sports too much. Where's golf and where's baseball? Not to mention, where is boxing, right? So where are the other sports? I mean, come on, man, that's kind of lame. I mean, if you're gonna make a comeback with this sports game, that kind of sports game, you gotta have those three at least included in there. Just saying. Also, the online multiplayer experience was quite the disappointment, because you can't just join in easily, right? Kind of like Mario Kart 8 style. Join in that lobby, try to get in there. If you don't, just watch. You're just spectating, which is fine. But they should have followed that structure, in my opinion. But it just seems like they stuck with their really basic guns, and they really neglected that, and hoped that the couch co-op would have carried the game but nope. I tried to go in on it. I mean, I gave it a fair college try, and the content is just lacking with the costumes and everything. You know, they try to do it's like a live service simulator, right? I mean, with the costumes to like when you like get enough points, you use those points to loot box your way through the costumes for your little avatar. That's about it. I think that's all the content there is, other than some bragging rights on those victories. Like, you know, my sort of initial videos I had for Switch Sports. But you know what? It is what it is. It's just a sports Nintendo sports game with that makeover, visual makeover in a way. I mean, it does look a little better, but it's not like extravagantly better than Wii U's sports or anything like that. Wii U Sports, and maybe even Wii Sports at that. I mean, Wii Sports had everything, you know. So, come on. I mean, even the Wii Sports Plus or whatever it was called, that one had a lot of stuff too. It even had basketball, man. That was pretty cool. Switch Sports, it's like I mean, it looks a little pretty, but that's just kind of it. It's just all looks and not much as much features, and even with the features, it kind of flopped on that too in a way. It could have executed a lot better, in my opinion. But anyway, I had a lot to say about that one because, again, this is my bread and butter for the channel. But unfortunately, not quite that butter to my bread, one can say. So yeah, that was for April. May, let's check it out here. Let's see. Was there anything for May? No, not really. That was a dead month for me, so waited all the way to June, I believe, with Mario Strikers. Yes, that's right. Unfortunately, that was quite a disappointment for me. I literally played that game for like 4 hours, and that's all I gave it, man. It's quite dry. I like the gameplay, but there is nothing to do in that game, really. It's just so boring for content-wise. Free updates, sure. There are characters still coming in. In fact, I think Bowser Jr. and somebody else made it into the fray as of recent, as I record this video. But that's about it, man. I mean, there's some characters made it in there in between, I believe, but new stages, sure, of course, that's a given, but I mean, I just couldn't keep up with it, man. I mean, I didn't even bother trying the online portion because wasn't really competitive at the time. I didn't really get a chance to play it with somebody. You know, I knew somebody else had a copy, but just from the looks of it, man, he fell off too. So it really tells you of how much people are playing it, right? At this point. So, bit of a disappointment on that one, but I mean, for those who really like the gameplay, I guess it is for you, but for me, not so much. Okay, so that's right. Sonic Origins came out that time too, but I didn't get it, but thought I'd mention that. Fire Emblem Warriors, Three Hopes. I was kind of considering that, but with how games were performing at the game was performing, you know, there was another game that I'd rather tackle, which was DNF Duel. That was the game that came out right at the end of June, and I gave that one a somewhat of a try. It was all right. I mean, it was really fun during the beta portion of things. I was playing with somebody online, just randos. Kind of a rare thing, but I was having fun with the game during its beta phase. But then when it came out, it was all right, but something about it just made me fall off. And then there was just nothing for months until now, with a incoming big patch, and then now they're gonna throw in Spectre in the game. You know, that pink-haired hot chick or whatever, right? With the katana, I believe, right? So it's kind of like a Hitman, I think, but a female Hitman almost, in a way. But I don't know about the DNF lore, I guess, too much, so Please correct me on that one. Anyway, DNF Duel, that one I bought, but unfortunately that was another dry one in terms of like content and stuff like that. As a casual, more of a casual player than anything. Despite being a fighting game enthusiast, it was like kind of not much to do, unfortunately. Seems like a recurring thing when it comes to some games, but let's see here. Oh, that's right. Stray came out in July. That's right. That was like one of the Game of the Year nominees, right? Digimon Survive. This was another interesting beast. So Digimon Survive, despite me putting quite a bit of time into it, I came out kind of somewhat whelmed overall. I was really looking forward to it because it's a Digimon visual novel game. You know, I like to sit down and really soak in the story of, well, especially Digimon, right? There were some diamonds in the rough, but overall it was mostly kind of more on the rough side because for me, I could enjoy the visual novel side of it with the gameplay system because of how predictable it was. Even the game kind of gave it away too. So it's very predictable. It's just too easy in a way. They didn't really add to that mystery. It's like, ooh, you know, what are my choices gonna be like, right? You can kind of like guess how the game worked. Even the game gave it away. So it's just a matter of like, you know, willing to ignore things, kind of turn a blind eye on those hints. But it was kind of hard for me because it was like right at the loading screen, right? So okay, I couldn't avoid it, unfortunately. But it is what it is. I mean, even the tactical RPG side of it was very shallow. It's just a matter of like evolving or digivolving your favorite Digimon or whatever, then overpower them essentially. There's no like real strategy to it, unfortunately. You kind of just like surround them and then hit them from behind if you can, that sort of thing. So it was kind of whelming. This is all I can say about it. I think I gave it like a 7 or 6 or something like that in my review. But boy, oh boy, it was quite dry, more than I hoped to be, or more than I thought, rather. And it's funny because it came out right around the same time as Xenoblade Chronicles 3. My goodness, that one kind of overtook that by a long shot. So that's another game I did not consider, but it's up there, for everyone else. I mean, glad that they enjoyed it. That's all I can say. When it comes to August, that's right. This was when I believe Multiverses came out, right? The full version. I did play the beta or whatever, the demo, and had a lot of fun with it. And the Multiverses, I did went in there quite a bit with my friends, with a co-op tag and stuff like that. 2v2. It was quite fun. Like I said, I mean, I'm waiting on a certain character to kind of reel me back in, but it is what it is. I mean, it's a good Smash clone. I think it's the best Smash clone out there in recent times. There's Nick All Stars, but that one fell off really hard because of just how jank it is. Even despite the passion behind the project, the budget wasn't there, the voices weren't there. That first impressions was really weak, so that's why a lot of people fell off of it real fast. Not to mention, again, it's just a bit. It's just like kind of like your budget Smash game. From the looks of it, animations were kind of just not clean enough and stuff like that. A lot of those factors play into that of falling off in comparison to Multiverse. Multiverse that's a game with budget. You know what I mean? A Smash clone with budget. Looks great. It had the voices. Even of course. Great Kevin Conroy, the late and great Kevin Conroy, as Batman, so on and so forth. But, again, I'm just waiting on that character. That's all I can say. But it probably is the best Smash competitor out there, besides Smash. And, great netcode in comparison to Smash Ultimate, especially. So, again, I'm just going to wait on that certain character, and we'll see. When I'll get back into the fray of things. So I think that's it for August, I believe. Let me just check real quick in August. Right, so September. We're getting close to the end of the year, kinda. We have Splatoon. I believe Splatoon came out in September. Yes, early September, in fact. That one is just like I kind of want to play it, but other games kind of just been occupying my time, and it pretty much is the case of this is Splatoon, but the best it can be, right? I mean, joining the lobby is so easy now, like it should have been in first place, but it's there, and then campaign is all right, but it's just pretty much like Splatoon again. What do you expect, right? But there are some updates. There are some nuances that are better to make it into a fresh enough game. So I kind of just got what I wanted to see out of Splatoon. So I'm kind of just putting it to the side and not really talk much about it beyond that. So all I can say is it is the best Splatoon, and if you haven't played Splatoon just yet, get this one. Honestly, you're not missing out too much on the campaign story. Not that deep, pretty easy to follow. Just look it up on the wiki and stuff like that. Not that real deep. Unless you want to experience the levels, then that's understandable. But yeah, I mean it is what it is. So that's the sort of summary I have for that game. October. This is where it gets where things ramp up quite a bit. We have Overwatch 2 at that. That one I did play because it's a free upgrade essentially, and that's just kind of what it is. Kinda, it's an upgrade. You do have some new characters in there, plus the ones I haven't played ever since at a certain point in Overwatch. I just stopped playing Overwatch when I think Ash came out. I think Ash was the last time I actually played, quote unquote, the game. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Other than that, that's all I had with that one. But when it came to Overwatch 2, there was like so many other characters I hadn't tried out. So I took my time to learn those characters, and they're pretty fun for what they are. But really, despite the 5v5 thing and the sort of one tank sort of team along with two damage and two support sort of builds or whatever, it's Overwatch. It still feels like Overwatch, which is fine of itself. But the big problem is the store. I think it's honestly the biggest detriment in that thing. That's why it's called Overwatch 2. The only big overhaul really is the shop, and that's taken away a lot of the fun out of it because you don't really get to unlock stuff. I've barely gotten anything out of the battle pass because I am on the free route. I'm not willing to put my money in there because of how they're doing things. So I don't want to support that. And as much as it's weird it is to say, I was kind of fine with the loot box. I have always been fine with the loot box system because it's just cosmetics at the end. It doesn't really take away from the gameplay of it. It's just cosmetics. There were quite a bit of people complain about that in the past. I do understand that, but it's cosmetics. It wasn't the worst thing about it, but with how loot boxes are abusive, I do understand that. But when it comes to this stuff, I mean, it's very much minor in comparison to the actual gacha games, right? And with the regulations that are possibly coming up in Europe and such, Blizzard decided to take away from that. And I think they did that the worst way possible because literally most of the stuff is behind real money. Like you can't even you can barely unlock anything with the free battle pass. And I think there are barely any unlockables through challenges. At least make the blue costumes unlockable from challenges. I mean, come on, man. Come on. And you barely get any the currency in the game, right? So you gotta put real money in there. It's ridiculous. That part could have been done so much better, but they didn't because they want money, of course. So it's just that's what it is, man. It's a live servicing game, and you gotta put money in there. So it's, I mean, especially with the costumes that were previously free, now you gotta pay for them. That is ridiculous, man. I mean, at least give the Overwatch 1 people like something, like not a discount, but like something to get those previously free costumes in our roster. Just saying, right? And do a bit of an overhaul with a number of those costumes and emotes and all that stuff being mostly blocked behind money. You gotta put in some with the challenges. It gives more people to a reason to play the game without having to spend money, man. I mean, come on. And then hey, if they like it, they're probably willing to put money in there to support you guys further, But right now, it's a bit of a face plant on that one, in my opinion. Hopefully they do something about that. Especially with Ramatra, they put Ramatra completely behind the battle pass. You can't even get them, or you can't even try them out until you get level 45 on the free battle pass. Yes, that is a little better from level 55 with Kiriko. And you can get the characters through challenges after the battle pass period. But it's still, when the character's out, you can't play them right away because you gotta go into 45, or you put in $10 and get level 4, right? Get them at level 4. That, again, real money, right? Locked behind real money. It's ridiculous. Especially when it's a gameplay thing. No other hero shooter or hero based whatever game is doing that. Not even League of Legends. Not even Apex Legends. And so on and so forth. I don't know about Valorant, but I know those two for sure don't do that. So, ridiculous. But I do still play it from time to time because it's still Overwatch, still fun to an extent, but it still has that same toxicity from Overwatch. So, it is what it is, I guess. Let's see. So, I believe Bayonetta came out at the end of October, yes. So, I didn't initially get Bayonetta because of the whole Helena Taylor controversy thing, and then a lot of us got fooled from that controversy, thinking that, wow, she broke the NDA, man, she has to be telling the truth, right? No. You gotta wait for the other side of the story, no matter how things are, right? Not just one side of the story. So you gotta wait on the other side, right? And then there were people that were coming out with counterclaims and such like that, and the fact that she even admitted weirdly to those claims being true in a way, and the fact that she was throwing out that weird number about, oh, Bayonetta made this much money. It's really? Why do you insist on that? It's so weird, right? Now that I think about it more and more, after the fact. But nonetheless, it was a reminder for myself to wait for the other side of the story. It's a nice, healthier approach on things from now on. Even though I kind of did that when it comes to Smash, right? Sort of, in a way, I think. It's been a while, but when it came to other stories, right, I waited for the other side of the story, but because this was Helena Taylor, and she was breaking NDA, it's oh, she has to be telling the truth. I'm on her side, and stuff like that, so I did the boycott thing, whatever, quote unquote. But also, it kind of gave me an excuse to skip Bayonetta for a little bit because of Sonic. Sonic was coming out around that same time, so that's why I want to put my time into Sonic more than with Bayonetta, honestly. So, kind of like an excuse for that. But now that the whole thing is blown over, and nothing else has happened at that point, I'm happy to say that I do have Bayonetta, a copy of my own copy, of course, and I'm gonna be playing that pretty soon-ish, hopefully, whether it's on stream or off stream, or outside the stream. And yeah, hopefully I can enjoy that, like other people have. So that whole thing has blown over. There was Sonic Frontiers, yes, for November. So that one was a great hit for me. I do like the open world format. I kind of said that in the review and stuff like that. So I've been enjoying it, or I was enjoying it. Now I'm waiting on the DLC stuff since they announced that very recently, which was I'm very much happy for because you can get to play Knuckles, Tails, Amy, and even Sage at that point. I think it was like the last part of the roadmap, right? So we had to wait on that for quite a bit, but it is coming. So I am happy on that regard. So that's pretty cool. And then there's Pokemon, right? The brand new Pokemon game, taking the stuff from RCS Legends or Legends RCS to here. All I can say for right now is that I've been playing it still since now, so that's kind of telling you something. So it is quite the game. That's fun. That's all I can say. But now for December. Now we're here, right? When it comes to games, I do want to try to see if I can get Bayonetta done out of the way. I might just do one stream, but we'll see. And then just like knock it out real quick, and then try to take care of Crisis Core. Man, it's I am very curious about that game. So, but other than that, when it comes to other stuff in real life, I think the biggest one that I can say right on top of my head is the car. Got a new car, it's brand new. I've been really liking it still. The most recent thing I've done with the car was actually the air intake. I put a TRD air intake in there, which is funny because I haven't actually put the filter in there, the actual TRD filter in there, which is the key component, I guess, because I installed everything else, like the tube, right, the TRD tube, the shorter tube, and then the box top for it, which that's nothing. That's just for decoration, honestly. But I think the most important thing is, of course, the filter, right? Because that's what allows more air to go into your engine to get a little more power, right? Maybe whether it's minuscule or not, it'll definitely change up the sound for sure, and your throttle response in a way. Now, the reason why I haven't done that right away is because, well, while yes, it does allow more air to flow through, it lets in more particles, right? So foreign particles get into your engine, and that could affect your longevity, which hasn't really done that to me from my experiences, because I've done that for the Silica, I've done that for the IS-250, although granted, the IS-250 transmission was kind of dying, so maybe that might have been, maybe it had to do with it. I don't know. I don't think so, but maybe. But it shouldn't. No, I don't think so, because it's going into the engine, not to the transmission. So I don't think it really does it all that much, unless you maybe take it to like 200,000 miles. I don't know. You just gotta clean it right, oil it right, because it's a oil-based air filter, which is why there is a risk involved with that, because if you over oil it, oversaturate it with oil, the oil can get into the engine, right? So you don't want that oil getting into the engine, or so they say. So it'd be pretty interesting if somehow you can get a air filter that works with the engine oil, right? And then you soak it up with the engine oil, and so that way you don't have to worry about it. No, I don't think so. I think the key thing is that it dirties up your mass airflow sensor. I think that's what the main issue is, really, rather than the engine itself. So I'm not like a complete mechanic, but I kind of just pick up on things, right? I just drive the car, right? So while I am a car enthusiast, that doesn't mean I'm a car mechanic, so to say. So I'm just gonna saying from what I've hear things, and so all I know is that those oil-based filters do come with a risk, because yes, again, it allows more air. That also means it allows more particles to come in. That's not that is fact. So what I will do with that, because of how that air intake system works, it uses the same air box, so that means I can use the same paper filter. But when I feel a little cheeky on that day, right? If I go for a weekend drive, I'll switch out the filter for the TRD filter to get a little more of that throttle response, the whole shebang, literally. And yeah, that's how I'm going to do it. So when it comes to daily driving, driving to work, driving to whatever, take out dinner, something, I'm going to put on the paper filter. And when it comes to weekend drives, when it's just me in the car or whatever, the TLD filter. And it shouldn't be too hard to switch it in and out, right? So that's the gist of that, I guess. But man, getting the car was a crazy experience of itself, because back in July, it was a nightmare because of how crazy the used car market was, because of how much effect it had with the semiconductor shortage, right? Because there was that shortage that we had since the pandemic. So not only affected phones and consoles and such like that, computers, of course, graphics cards, but cars, as a matter of fact, because cars use way more chips, way more electronics today. So that's why cars are still on the short side of things. They're starting to pick things up, it seems like, from what I've heard. So by the time of next year, things should be looking better, but I think still right now it's still looking pretty bad in comparison to before. So yeah, me without a car for another 6 months, it's gonna be pretty rough. So I had no choice but to get a brand new car. But for what it is, I love it. I like the handling. I like the technology. Admittedly, you got the backup camera, the touch screen, and everything. It's cool. I like the Apple CarPlay, the whole 9 yards of the electronics, right? So electronic steering and braking has been pretty interesting. It was something to get used to. It really does feel easy, but it doesn't mean it's not fun or anything like that. I think it's still fun to drive, but it does feel different. That's all I can say. The cornering is fun because of how it's configured. So, this Corolla is a little lower, so that means cornering is a lot easier. You do feel the bumps more. That's the price of it. In comparison to the Lexus, because the Lexus had better shocks and everything, so or suspension and stuff like that. So it's a luxury car, of course. So that's why it takes bumps better. Cornering was still pretty decent, so that's why it was a pretty nice car to drive. But again, I'm really happy with the car. It was looking pretty bad though for the Lexus because of the transmission starting to die out. So I had to give up the car. Unfortunately, I couldn't fix it because it would have cost a lot of money for sure. Arm and a leg, that whole thing. But with the new car, of course, that also cost quite a bit. But if you want to compare it, right? I mean, unless I really liked the IS250, probably would have kept it. But maintenance is pretty much of a hassle. It's just it sucked having to let go of that car because the memories behind that car. I took it to Evo. I took it to E3. It went everywhere with me. College, all those events, all the like experiences I've had, all the cool experiences I've had over the past 10 years. That car was there with me, So hopefully with the Corolla, it'll stick with me for a longer time since it is a Corolla, so it should be able to hold up, right? As long as I do the oil and stuff like that, check the tires, check whatever fluid is in there left, right? I don't think there's power steering fluid. I don't think there's nothing in there because it's electronic. Even the e-brake is electronic, man. That's crazy. That's crazy to me. But at least tires gonna be easier because they're all the same size, unlike the Lexus. I hated that. That's the one thing I hated about the Lexus, because the front tires were low profile tires, and the back ones were regular tires. Which is why hitting those potholes were really painful. Let's just put it that way. Although luckily, I've had that happen to me very rarely, but it happened at some point. Well, anyway, Corolla hatchback, I love it. Great car so far for me, and hopefully to stick with it a lot longer. But although granted, it was 16 years with the Lexus. Hopefully with well, technically I was with it for 12 years, but the actual car is 16 years old. So yeah. So we'll see. We'll see about the Corolla. See how long that holds up. So I'm hoping to have it for 200,000 miles, but we'll see. That's gonna be a long time with how much I drive nowadays. But as long as I check the oil, check the transmission, and that should be it. So that should be that's all I can do really. But I'll do my best to keep an eye out for that car, and like I have with the Lexus. So yeah. So I mean, you could say it's my first brand new car, so it's all me. So yeah. Anyway, been keeping up with the car wash and stuff like that. So I've actually been, it's funny. Sidetrack. I know it's been a long video, but this is what the channel vlog is all about. Just unload everything. You know what's funny? Ever since I was looking for the Corolla, I was starting to pay attention to cars again. Like I've been watching this YouTube channel run by a dude named Scotty Kilmer. I this year discovered Scotty Kilmer, and I've been watching him since, man. I've been just binging on his content when it comes to cars, man. It's just, he's an old mechanic. He's very entertaining and very informative at that. So he does have his quirks, like the whole title, right? His titles are very clickbaity, but he does it because that's what brings in people. So he's playing the YouTube game, so I can respect that. It is what it is. It is funny, but it is what it is. But I've been watching him. I think the value that he brings is immense, especially for people who like cars, who care about their cars, car mechanics and everything. And the just opinions he has for newer stuff is pretty funny. So I watch him for that. I've been watching him since, just non-stop, essentially. Like he uploads every single day, so that's like crazy, man. That's crazy. So yeah, he's like another YouTuber now on my list that I watch on a religious basis, I should say. So thank God someone like Scotty exists, because I feel like I do have more knowledge about how to take care of the car and stuff like that, and good reminders at that too. I mean, I've had some knowledge here and there when it comes to cars, but definitely Scotty added a lot more to my repertoire. And also, like, I like, for example, I always check my tires, right? But when it comes to other things, I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't know about that. So so just the stuff that he brings is very valuable. So if you do care about your car, I recommend Scotty Kilmer. He's I think the most subscribed car related channel out there, at least definitely one of the most subscribed channels out there when it comes to cars. So if not most. So that tells you something. He's been doing it for 50 years. So that really tells you, right? So that's quite a long time. So massive respect to him. I hope he keeps going. That way he can help out more people along the way. And yeah, so I'm kind of glad in a way, I guess you could say, that I had to get a new car, because if I kept going as is, I would have probably further destroyed the Lexus in a way, in some areas, I guess. But now that someone like Scotty Kilmer is around, I can like kind of remind myself about how to do things, what to look out for, so on and so forth, and when to take the car to the mechanic. That stuff too. But yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it at that. Otherwise, I've been hanging in there personally, just getting by, as much as I can, best as possible, and just been talking to um, people and stuff like that. I have my circle through Facebook and Discord and stuff like that. But I think also this was my first time going out for something besides April, or yeah, because April was the baby shower, I believe, right? Which was funny because that was when I first started to realize my car was dying. But but in November, I visited my cousins and uncle for Thanksgiving, and it was pretty refreshing to see people. Right, I've been trying to be really careful, super introverted in comparison to before, ever since the whole pandemic thing, and it's been, I mean, I don't know what the exact word for it, but it's something. But yeah, you could definitely say that it was very refreshing to see people and stuff like that, especially family, you know. Um, so it was nice, and hope to be able to come around to visit my friends in real life sometime next year. So when things start to look better, I can go out with confidence, at least to people's houses. I don't want to go out to places anymore consistently. Maybe unless it's for like a movie or something, but movie theater is low priority right now still. I would like to visit, friends sometime next year. So hopefully, maybe that'll be my New Year's resolution, kinda ish, to just slowly get back into things, kind of like the world, and hopefully, 23 has something on the horizon for me, in terms of opportunities and stuff like that. So hopefully that'll be the start, but we'll see. So, but nonetheless, yeah, 22 is gone and went, and yeah, so that's all I can gonna leave it at that. It's been an hour on the camera, so I'm gonna now go ahead and leave it at that for realsies. Let's hope 23 will have opportunities for everyone, man. And things will look up for the better. There will be downhills again of some kind. I know, we've lost some icons and legends this year, including Kevin Conroy and Jason David Frank and so on and so forth, etc., etc. It's gotta keep moving forward. That's all I can say. But anyway, hope I hope you all found this entertaining of sorts, and I'll try to keep going with the videos, right, as always. I'll try to get the Pokemon review out as soon as I can. I really want to do it, get it done. So there's that. And maybe the Bayonetta stuff. Maybe that'll be my last one. Crisis Core. Hope I can at least just play it, right? I don't think I'm gonna do a review for it, but we'll see. Maybe if it's that good of a game, maybe I will. I don't know. But that's if I get around to do it at all. But don't forget to hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll be sure to come out with more content that hopefully you guys like. And I really do appreciate if you guys consider the membership, right? That's also the year. I forgot to talk about the whole streaming thing. Oh my god, I'm so stupid. But membership is definitely one of them. If you want to take a look at that, I really do appreciate it. Anyway, that's a whole nother story of itself. So it's already been an hour anyway. So yeah. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in, and hope I see you all in the next video. If not, I definitely will see you all next year. So till then, I'll see you all. Sean out.